Who said work had to be boring? The workplace has the perfect recipe for memorable conversations and, with a little creativity, some hilarious hijinks. Heck, we all remember when Nick and Harris ate those seriously special brownies.
I think it got hash in them, Barney. Hash!
What are all the detectives and company up to today? I'm your host, Nostalgic Nick, and let's do some detecting of our own. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And be sure to subscribe to avoid missing our next episode. Without further ado, let's revisit NYC's finest. Hal Linden. Every squad needs a leader, and that's where sarcastic but sensible Captain Barney Miller comes in. What a show leader. Hal was nominated for an Emmy practically every season, but never did win. Life imitates art, huh? After the show ended in 1982, Linden continued to be very active on television, but never had as much magic as Barney Miller. Even in the 1986 show Black's Magic, starring him and MASH star Harry Morgan. Canceled after one season, his next show would be 1992's Jack's Place, which had similar lackluster results. More recently, Linden went back to his Broadway roots and toured with his show An Evening with Hal Linden.
The starry song that April sang.
At 89 years old, Hal is still active in the biz, acting in Granddaddy Daycare in 2019 alongside Dallas's Linda Gray. And just months ago, he sold a golf course getaway of his for a whopping $1.7 million. Abe Vigoda.
Oh, you should call me first. I need time to put my teeth in.
Reliable, long-suffering, enduring. Words that describe Sergeant Phillip Fish. The grim expression Sergeant was hilarious with his deadpan delivery that arrested our attention spans. Before playing the Sergeant, Abe was on the other side of the law as Salvatore Tessio in The Godfather. The stars aligned for his role in The Godfather, as auditions for Tessio were exclusively for actors without agents.
For old time's sake.
Can't do it, Sally.
His appearance paired with his performance made him the perfect choice for the hemorrhoid-ridden Fish. The character was a fan favorite, and Abe got his own spin-off show simply titled Fish. What wouldn't get canceled were all the fake death announcements claiming Abe's passing. As something of a comedian himself, though, he ran with the joke. But Abe lived a remarkable life, which sadly ended in 2016, when he passed away in his sleep at the ripe old age of 94. His absence from the following year's Oscar memorial reel turned quite a few heads, and understandably so. Maybe they thought it was another hoax. Max Gail. Detective Stan Wojciehowicz had a heart as big as his name. Wojo represented the wholesome, well-intentioned side of the squadron. He offers a compelling character arc that leaves him changed.
Well, let me tell you something. I wasn't over there. And the guys I was with weren't over there for any oil companies or DuPont or Dow Chemical.
Yes, you were.
Gail had a lot of acting success, but not until he was 28 years old in 1971. And nothing could ever beat the Wojo fame, which helped him secure even better roles. The following year after Barney Miller concluded, Gail was in his most popular movie, DC Cab, starring alongside Mr. T. That same year, he landed another sitcom, this time Whiz Kids, where Max sported a groovy stash. In 2018, he took over the role of Mike Corbin in General Hospital, which earned him a Daytime Emmy Award. He's been in over 100 episodes. Congrats, Max. Ron Glass.
I mean, I always figure if you can't afford to go first class, charge it.
Detective Ron Harris was a dreamer who appreciated the finer things life had to offer and made sure to enjoy them too. Constantly, even at work, almost more than he does police business. But hey, he put a lot of work into his writing career. His actor, Ron Glass, worked hard too. After moving to Hollywood, he nabbed guest spots on top shows like Good Times and Sanford & Son. He once again partnered with Sanford & Son's Demond Wilson in 1982's The New Odd Couple. More recently, in 2002, he was cast in the Fox sci-fi show Firefly, where he played the spiritual shepherd. It's a cult classic that was canceled too soon. I suggest it to all sci-fi fans. He reprised the role in the series-turned-movie finale Serenity in 2005. Ron Glass was a Buddhist, and sadly in 2016 he died of respiratory failure at 71 years old. But we will forever remember the stylish and concise Detective Harris. Jack Sue. Sergeant Nick Yemana brought a lot to the detective squad room, but he definitely didn't bring good coffee.
Come to think of it, that is garbage.
Jack Soo got his start in entertainment under harrowing circumstances. At a Japanese internment camp during World War II, Soo would sing for fellow inmates as well as the personnel. This snowballed into touring as a nightclub artist, making his name in the Midwest. When he joined the sitcom and throughout his career, Jack was determined to keep the portrayal of Asian Americans respectful. To do this, his Yemana often emphasized his own background as being first and foremost American.
I was born in Omaha.
Being a smoker, Soo developed cancer in the 4th season, and in 1979 he died at just 61. That year, the show paid tribute with an episode consisting of unscripted memories of Soo by the cast, interspersed with clips of him from the show. At the end of the episode, the cast raised their coffee cups, and in line with Nick's infamously bad beverages, Hal Linden delivered the final line. It must have been the coffee. Gregory Sierra. No one delivered those passionate tirades quite like Sergeant Amangwal. He took his job seriously with his whole heart, reaching an emotional low point when busting a bank robbery turned deadly. Usually though, when things went awry, he'd just vent his feelings with a pequeño Spanish tirade. Barney Miller was far from Sierra's only big credit. This man accumulated a lot of quality work, from multiple episodes of soap to a recurring role on Sanford & Son as the Puerto Rican neighbor Julio Fuentes. I recently spotted him in 1992's Deep Cover as a drug dealer alongside Lawrence Fishburne. His most recent film credit was a long time coming, The Other Side of the Wind. Released in 2018 on Netflix, this was the long-awaited final picture written and directed by Orson Welles. Today, he's 83 years old and lives in Laguna Woods, California. Steve Landsberg. Sergeant Arthur Dietrich could connect to people on just about any topic, though his way of talking about those topics wasn't always clear.
What about you, Nick? Huh? Do you ever feel any longings to return to your home?
Landsberg knew how to present everything with a comedic twist with confidence. He actually guest starred on Barney Miller as a priest in Season 2, Episode 1 before joining the show, eventually being nominated for 3 Emmys. Landsberg played a doctor in a lot of TV shows and films, from 2 episodes of The Golden Girls as Dr. Halperin, to a series staple in the Starz show Headcase, as yet another physician. Landsberg was one funny guy, side hustling as a stand-up comedian before and after Barney Miller. He passed away in 2010 at the age of 74. James Gregory. Nobody knew what absurdity would come out of Inspector Frank Lugers' mouth next. Barn frequently had to step into his office and deal with his latest ramblings, which were more often than not outdated and out of touch.
Oh, yes, you do know what I mean.
Character actor James Gregory was in charge of bringing this nostalgic inspector to life. Wielding a gravelly voice that has a following of its own, Gregory was the perfect actor to play hard, bold men, which he did for The Manchurian Candidate, and a bit hairier with the same demeanor in Beneath the Planet of the Apes. Barney Miller was near the end of Gregory's career, but this man was a Hollywood Goliath. Gregory was married to Ann Miltner for nearly 60 years until his death in 2002. Ron Carey. Officer Levitt was on a mission: become sergeant. That meant dutifully performing all tasks and reminding his superiors how much he deserved a promotion.
All we got was sandwiches.
Barney Miller marked a midpoint for the New Jersey native, who graduated as a communications major from Seton Hall, though it did coincide with him joining a comedy troupe manned by Mel Brooks. This put him in movies like High Anxiety and History of the World. He remains best known for his work on Barney Miller, even well after his death from a stroke in 2007. Carey was 71 and is survived by wife Sharon, who he married in 1968. Barbara Barry. Even if devoted social worker Liz Miller wasn't always visible, we felt her presence. The captain was often talking to his wife on the phone, or referencing her in some way. After Barney Miller, she received an Academy Award nomination for Breaking Away, which was turned into a TV series in which she also starred alongside Sean Cassidy. And if you love the Cassidy Boys, check out our 1970s Heartthrobs video next. Barbara is also a celebrated writer of 2 children's books. Then life changed the content of her story. Her next 2 books drew directly from her personal battles with colorectal cancer. She firmly believes that speaking out about early detection is more important than acting. At 89 years old, she has a message that she's determined to spread, and we couldn't be happier. Well, that's that. As a cop show, Barney Miller got a lot of approval from real officers, who appreciated the emphasis on the cast instead of action. And the cast could not have been picked with any more brilliance. Barney Miller is a classic for the generations. Were you a fan of this detective unit? Who is your favorite among all the great characters? Tell us in the comments. We read them all. And be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel so you never miss a memory. From all of us here at Do You Remember, thanks for watching.